Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Dunkle, and this is episode 4 of the White Yoda podcast. For those of you that don't know, I started this in order to take the things that have allowed me to be successful as a student, as an athlete, as a teenager, and just pass them along to anybody that may be able to find some value in that information. As always, guys, I'm super excited about the topic I have in store for today's episode, but I do want to remind you guys that if you have anything that you specifically wanted to ask me about or that you want me to talk about in an episode, make sure you hit me up in the comments below, guys. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the content that you actually want to hear about and not just spitting out irrelevant information that has no value to the things that you guys actually want. But for now, guys, let's get on with episode 4. So I was looking back on the various things that have allowed me to succeed throughout my life and that have really pushed me to essentially push myself to the person that I am today. And one thing came above all else, that one thing stood out above all else, and that's the fact that the times that I worked the hardest were usually right after the times that I had been doubted, rejected, or overlooked. And specifically, I was thinking of a time that had the greatest impact on me as a student. And this was in 8th grade. For whatever reason, even though I had established myself as one of the top students in my class, I was up there, I was getting straight A's and all this stuff. For some reason, in my class, I was overlooked as one of the top students by my peers. Whenever they thought of the smartest kids in school, I wasn't among that group of people. It was always these 1 or 2 or 3 other people over here. And to make matters worse, that year I actually ended up coming in 2nd place in the running for highest GPA in my class. I lost by like 1/10 of a point. And academics was something that was so important to me that, first of all, going through the whole year and having other people get credit for the things that I'd worked so hard for, and then losing by such a small margin on something that I had put so much effort into, it crushed me. It was something that was really, really difficult to handle. But that year allowed me to push myself so much harder when it came to the next academic year, and I wouldn't be on track to be number 1 in my class if I didn't have to go through that. I would have lost my hunger a long time ago. And so a lot of times when we have these setbacks, or when we're overlooked, or when someone tells us that we're inadequate, or we lose, or we're rejected, or any of these various things, we tend to collapse in on ourselves and we focus on all of the bad things. We focus on the fact that we lost, or the fact that we may not be as good as we originally thought we were. All of these negative things that we focus on, and it does nothing but make the situation worse. In that case, I could have focused on the fact that I wasn't the best, or that I was overlooked by all of my peers. But instead, those setbacks, those 2 setbacks that happened in those years, it pushed me even harder. And the fact that I was discounted by people, it lit a fire in me to prove them wrong, to prove to them that I was the best. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. It's just that the people that win and that are successful in the things that they undertake, they have this mindset that they're the best before anybody else even knows it. And they recognize the extreme value that comes from believing you're the best while you're an underdog, because it allows you to sort of jump onto the scene without anybody really recognizing that you're making that come up. And so when someone discounts my abilities, instead of adding myself to that group of people that is looking down on me, I literally get pissed off. There's nothing worse to me than losing at something that I'm putting everything that I have into. And so when I was overlooked with that group of smart kids, or I lost at the end of the year there, I became obsessed with beating the people that were ahead of me. I literally, everything I did as far as academics, my studying, when I was reading for class, when I was taking tests, when I was doing homework, I did it with so much greater of an intensity, and it's an intensity that I didn't have before. And it's one that I didn't imagine I could reach in the first place. And because I was so focused on this, and everything that I was doing, everything that I was thinking was to win, I wore down my competition. And it wasn't that I was smarter than them or that I got lucky or anything like that. It's the fact that I decided that this setback was going to push me to be better than them. I decided that I wasn't going to lose the next few years, that I was going to be the one that won, or the one that they considered to be the smartest in the school. I made that decision, and I knew that there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting there, because I had decided there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting there. And so that mindset and just having that attitude about things wore down my competition and allowed me to establish myself as soon to be the number one in my class. And that's what it takes to win at things, whatever it is that you're planning on striving to be, whether that's an actor, an actress, a musician, an artist, an athlete, whatever it is. That's what it takes to be successful. You have to be obsessed with the process and everything that you're doing. And trust me, obsessiveness is not something that you can just, a switch that you can just turn on. It usually takes this setback for you to really understand that, hey, I'm not gonna have this happen again. So when you have these setbacks or you have these heartbreaks, understand the tremendous value that's coming from that and the opportunity that you have to become obsessed with being successful. And when that drive that comes from people looking down on you, it creates one of the most beautiful opportunities for success that there is. You can take these heartbreaks and you can give a positive spin on them. And because of that different mindset that you're having about things, it will allow you to reach a level of success that you're not going to be able to reach without having gone through that. And so with that, it's time to kind of start wrapping this up, which means it's also quote time. And this is one it's a very simple quote, but it also wraps this whole episode up really beautifully in that simple manner. And it gives a little bit more weight to it because it's by somebody that's reached a much higher level of success than me. And it's by a famous athlete that goes by the name of Derek Jeter. And Jeter says, "I love it when people doubt me. It makes me work harder to prove them wrong." So guys, when people overlook you or they don't think you're good enough, you have two ways of how you can carry yourself after this. You can either sulk and complain about not being good enough, which actually brings you farther away from being good enough, or you can get pissed off and you can give everything you have to become so good that these people can't ignore you anymore. Because there's no greater feeling than giving everything you have and then having all these people that doubted you or overlooked you or just simply ignored you come crawling back to you because you have that big of a presence now and you're now successful in whatever it is you undertook. And so when you have these opportunities, these setbacks, these heartbreaks, take them for what they are. Take them as opportunities and go out there and use them as a way for you to become obsessed with winning at whatever it is you're doing and then prove all of these people wrong. And with that, you'll be able to reach a level of success that most people won't be able to reach because they're looking at these setbacks as negatives instead of understanding that they're opportunities. So guys, as always, thank you so very much for tuning into the White Yoda podcast. It means so much to me, and it just makes this all so much more fun to have people that are watching it. So I hope you guys go out and kill it this week, guys.